Now we're going to talk about equivalent fractions. And we looked at that a little bit last week when we did our investigation. So let's first talk about what they are. Well, as you can see here, we're going to talk about a half first. We've got a half of these bars shaded. Well, often though, we can split things up in different ways. So if I split this half up now into quarters, you can still see that the same amount is shaded. So here I've got 2 quarters. So 2 quarters is the same value as a half, it just looks different. And so we have a saying, same value, different appearance. Now, there are other ways I could split that half up. I could also split it like this. I've split it into 6 equal parts. 6 equal parts. And of 6 equal parts, 3 are shaded. So I've got 3/6. The same amount is shaded, it just looks different. Same value, different appearance. I could also split it into a different way. Now I've broken it into 8 equal parts. And of those 8 equal parts, 4 are shaded. So it looks the same because the same amount is shaded, same value, but it looks slightly different. Same value, different appearance. I could split it into lots of different ways. Let's do a different one, which is like this. I split it into 10 equal parts, and 5 are shaded, so that's 5/10. So the same amount is shaded, but it looks different, same value, different appearance. Okay, now we can't draw rectangles every time we're looking at these. So what's the rule? What's going on? Well, it's quite simple. All it means is, whatever I'm doing to the numerator, I have to do to the denominator. The numerator, the denominator. So, let's look at the first one. Well, I times the numerator by 2. I made it twice as big. So if I do that to the denominator, it's 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4. I can do that with different ones. Let's look at this one. Whatever I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. Well, here, I timed it by 3, so I have to do that to the bottom. 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times 3 is 3. And it works for absolutely every single one. I'm going to do a big one now. I'm going to go all the way from 1 to 5/10. Well, here you can see, I timed it by 5. So the same thing follows for the bottom, go all the way around, and I have to times it by 5. 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 5 is 10. Whatever I do to the numerator, I must do to the denominator. That's simple with that one there. Now let's look then at these fractions I've got written here. They're equivalent fractions, but someone's stolen a number. Well, I can easily figure that out by finding out what they've done to the numerator or the denominator. So let's look at this first one. I don't know what the numerator is here, but I do know the denominator. So what am I timesing 4 by to get 16? I'm doing my 4 times table and multiplying it by 4. That means I must do the same to the top. So 3 times 4 is, and of course the answer is 12. So it's 12/16. Let's have a look at our next one. Whatever I do to the numerator, I must do to the denominator. Well, I don't know this denominator. Let's have a look at this one now. Oh, it's 3 times bigger. So I must do the same to the denominator. Times that by 3. And that means I have 12/15. Let's look at our final one. Now I don't know this numerator, I know this numerator and denominator, and I need this denominator. So, well, I'm going this way this time. Whatever I do to the numerator, I must do to the denominator. So 30 divided by 5, okay, equals 6. Because 6 times 5 is 30. So I have to divide this by 5. Which means, what do I times by 5 to get 20? The answer is, of course, 4. So this one equals 4/6. Okay, one last quick thing. Someone can say to you, give me some equivalent fractions, and you can find, well, infinite ones, because you just have to keep doing the same to the bottom and the top. Okay, so let's times this one by 2, and this part by 2. That gives me an equivalent fraction of 18/24. I could do something different. I could divide it by 3. Now divide the bottom by 3. So that means I've got 3/4. Could do anything to it. I could even times it by 100, but as long as I do the same to the numerator that I do to the denominator. Times this by 100 gives me 900. Times this by 100 gives me 1,200. So that means that 912 hundredths is equal to 9/12, which is also equal to 3/4. Same value, different appearance.